Just he limited. Didn't practice today as normal, and has a quad that he's dealing with. So we'll hopefully know more tomorrow. Just check him day by day.
Had it been a Thursday, would he have practiced with him?
I have no comment until tomorrow. Like I don't know. We don't ever practice on Wednesdays. So. I'm sorry.
Did it pop up during the game?
After the game. I didn't know anything about it during the game. After the game, Monday morning they talked about it.
How much are you guys monitoring the hurricane as it comes up this way?
Yeah, Eddie Levins does a great job for us. Managing really all things to do with the facility and the games, and amongst many other things. Was in charge of everything during COVID. He's just letting us kind of know, hey, what it looks like for the game. But we're like any, we have the turf, so it should be a clean surface to play on. Just have a rain plan, but we've kind of had that the last couple of weeks because we've expected rain in the other games and the home games and haven't. So we're keeping an eye on it. I hope everyone stays safe throughout the country, and we'll just play it by ear as we know more.
You've had a lot of success against Cliff. You guys have gone up against each other in college and in the pros. What sticks out to you about his offense and his overall teams that you faced?
I think Cliff Kingsbury is a tremendous football coach and offensive mind, and he's just a real challenge because he attacks you in so many different ways. He attacks you obviously with Kyler Murray, great quarterback. Attacks you with the run game. They have the NFL's number one rushing success running game right now. So when they run it, they're having a lot of success. Great 2-minute offense. They attack you with tempo. They attack you with the screen perimeter game, and they attack you with play action shots. Hollywood Brown's playing really well for them now. If they get Rondale back, an excellent player. So Dorcher's playing well. They have Zach Ertz. So I think Cliff just he can mold his system to the talent that he has, and he always finds a way to score a ton of points.
They were averaging something like 74 plays a game. You guys are 54. How do you guys get your numbers up, and what do they do so well to keep them so run some good plays?
Yeah, they had some really long drives this past game. If you look at the Rams only had like 50-some plays. They had a 19-play drive, a 16-play drive. I think the thing is that Kyler's just in the zone right now of like he's going to take what you give him. I mean, he's throwing the ball underneath, and he throws it down the field, then he scrambles around. The screen game is always viable for them, and then the running game is really good. So they'll go for it. Like third down isn't really third down with them. They'll go for it on 4th and 1 on their own 20, on their own 30 against us last year. So you have to be prepared to play all 4 downs. For us, I think the key for us is very simply just winning third down. If we can improve third down, stay on the field because we had 4 scoring drives. We scored. Now there were field goals. We want to score touchdowns. Don't get me wrong, but we're moving the football down there to me. But it's not consistent enough because of third down. So we're doing a great job of protecting the ball. Which I appreciate from our guys, but we want to stay on the field more.
Matt, back on Christian, he just spent today kind of inside rehab type stuff. We didn't see him.
Yeah, he's taking care of himself right now. He's getting his body right. So tomorrow we'll see what he does tomorrow.
Is there anything that you've seen Baker do, whether it's in the building, outside of the building, with receivers to try to get on the same page or anything to help that relationship?
Yeah, I mean, Baker, you should see Baker the night before the game get up and talk to the guys about here's all the checks I'm going to make. He's so well prepared. And I think that the guys sense that and feed off that. To me, it's just we just got to keep playing together. It's practice together, play together. They stay after together. Baker's an alpha and he's a winner and he's a competitor. And I think the more reps we have, the guys kind of being around each other, I think the better and better they're going to be. So as you've heard me talk about the passing game, it's everybody. It's never on one guy. It's on the coach. It's on the line to protect. It's on so it's on the guys that get open and make tough catches. So I think everybody's just kind of really honing in on, hey, what can I do? It's like I talked about with turnovers last week. If you talk about something a lot, sometimes guys start to get tense about it. We gotta cut loose a little bit.
What have you noticed about his pocket presence through games?
Yeah, I think when Baker gets edge pressure, there's not many guys who have a better feel for stepping up. I think it was a challenge in some, in the second game because of the blitz package. I think, as we said, we just have to do a really good job. The line has to do a good job of just making him feel really confident with the pocket in front of him. And then part of it's just the timing of guys getting open and being where they're supposed to be. There's, every play kind of tells its own story. There's plays where we turn on and someone's supposed to You're running into the window and they're not quite where they're supposed to be, and Baker's looking there. And so all that always falls on the quarterback. It always falls on the play caller. But we kind of just need everybody to understand that, they're the most important person on every play. They just have to do their job, and I think you'll see those plays start to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to ask about how would you evaluate his play? What areas do you want him to get better at?
Yeah. And I hope you guys understand. I answered that on Monday. Like, I don't want to sit here and keep talking about him. I think Baker's going to play great this week. I mean, he's focused. He's prepared. I want to see the line play great. I want to see the receivers play great. I just want to see us complete balls, because I think we have the playmakers to complete balls. And when I say complete balls, I'm not meaning it in a demeaning way. I just mean, like, let's just take what the defense gives us and let's convert third downs. And so, I try to do a good job of being very detailed with you guys about, what I see. I did that Monday. I think right now I'm looking forward, and I think he's had a good practice out there today. He'll have another good one tomorrow. But really, to me, it's, the challenges to that whole offensive group, hey, to Ben, to the coaches, they get the guys open. Hey, guys, it's not about getting the ball. It's about getting open. That's a big difference, right? It's not about getting the ball. It's about getting open. Go get open and the ball come your way. So I think, I saw the look in Robbie's eye today. Like, he's focused. I saw the look in DJ's eye. He's focused. Terrace, he's focused. There's a lot of guys that are ready to go. And if we all do that, I can promise you Baker Mayfield's going to make plays.
Arizona's had trouble getting out of the gates and starting fast. How important is it for you guys to get a jump on them this weekend?
Yeah, I'm always so hesitant to say that, to be quite honest with you, because, I told the guys last week the Saints have scored all their points in the fourth quarter. And, we got a lead, which was great, but, they scored 14 points in the fourth quarter, made it a game. These guys have scored 33 of their 62. I think it's 33 of their 62 points in the fourth quarter. They're outscoring opponents 33-7 in the fourth quarter. It was 23-7 with 12 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter, and they came back and beat Vegas. So obviously we want to go out and play well. We want to get off to a hot start. We want everyone in the crowd to be excited because we look fun and dynamic. We want all those things. But the game in the National Football League, especially with what's happening right now, I mean, it looks like across the league from what I'm hearing, like points are down a little bit. Defenses are playing a little bit better. Games are coming down to the last 5 minutes. And the one thing that J.J. Jansen, addressed the team the other day and said, which I thought was pretty cool, was our guys get to the final 4, 5, 6 minutes of the game and we're not real panicked. They haven't all gone our way, but we're not uptight. And, so I'd love to get off to a great start, but at the end of the day, in the NFL today, the game comes down to the end, and we got to be great at the end.
You just shared seeing a look in Robbie's eyes or DJ's eyes that gave you confidence that things would be different. What did you notice with them this week?
Yeah, I have confidence in them all the time. Like, that's the one thing with me. I always say to the guys, like, I kind of know how the movie ends. I know what these guys are capable of. But there is a journey, that they have to kind of go through throughout the course of a season. And I think the one thing you see right now in the National Football League is 2 teams are 3-0. 2 teams haven't won a game yet, and everyone's kind of 1-2 or 2-1, right? Everyone's trying to figure out who they are. And, we saw last year, like, who you are in the first month of the season, isn't really who you end up being. We learned it the hard way. It's really about how you improve and get better. So we have things we need to improve upon, a lot of them. Like, we're talking about one, but there's many more I think that we need to improve upon. Last week we talked about takeaways. So to me, when the guys have that mindset, like, you can have 2 approaches. You can either say, oh, it's not my fault, it's this guy's fault, which our guys don't do. Or you can say, hey, what can I do to make it better? So, Robbie comes in, he's like, hey, I just need to work on this, and then I'll help the passing game. And DJ's like, I need to work on this, and Shy, and et cetera, et cetera. That's what gives me confidence. I know they can do it. I know what we're capable of, but we got to go do it. That's what I kind of said to you last week about something else. Hey, we got to go do it. And, but we just keep practicing until we get there.
Matt, when you're facing a
guys who are on the injury report, Laviska, Xavier, is there any concern about?
Yeah, there's concern with all of them. Anytime they're on the injury report, I'm a little bit nervous, but I think they're all day to day. There's no one that I'm saying, hey, they're out for the game. So I think they're all day to day. And last week Dante, I was like, I thought maybe he wouldn't be out, but I was kind of day to day with him. And Dante, he proved me wrong and right, because he told me during the week, he's like, Coach, I'll find a way to play, and he played. So just kind of tomorrow will be the real test. Tomorrow's kind of our hard day.
Matt, when you're facing a quarterback like
he's been one of the more consistent players, like throughout the quarterbacks and all those things throughout the season. He seems to be having kind of a slow start. What are some of the things that you've seen when you look back at the tape, and some things that you think he may change or just, I guess, fall into his favor? Like, maybe just things aren't falling the way that he's used to. I don't know if I phrased that question.
No, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I think. Well, DJ's an excellent player and one of the key guys on our team, and we want to get him involved. I think when you take that leap to being like, hey, I'm one of the elite players. People are going to pay a lot of attention to you, and so it's you have to really outwork people. And as coaching staff, we got to outwork. How can we find ways to get him the ball? Everyone else has to be playing at a high level, and DJ, has got to continue to work the way he's doing to get open and make plays. And so we targeted him, just didn't quite connect on it. I think it's the same as everything else, right? Like it's really not just about one person. It's about all of us, just everybody just playing a little bit better in the passing game. As I said to the guys, we're not throwing the ball and catching the ball the way we want, on third down, all that, but we are like 15th in explosive play rate. So we having some explosive plays. We're running the ball pretty well. We're 7th in, rushing success. But we're number 1 in not allowing negative plays, which is a far cry from last year. So some things are improving. We improve this last one thing, I think it'll open everything up. But it's not, hey, DJ's got to do this or this guy's got to do this. It's just all of us just continuing to get on the same page.
Matt, when you're facing a quarterback like Kyler, who obviously can extend plays longer than many quarterbacks that you'll face, what's the specific challenge to everybody, every level of the defense with that? And how do you prepare for a quarterback like that?
Yeah, what Kyler did at the end of the game against the Raiders, I don't know if you guys watched it. It was magical, absolutely magical. Again, he's someone I've competed against in college, known for a long time. I got a lot of respect for him. I love when I see him. I think he's a great guy. He can do it all. He can run. He can scramble to throw. He can scramble to run. He can zone read. He can quarterback draw, quarterback counter. He can do it all, and he's fearless. So I think the keys for us is we've got to kind of just focus on ourselves. I mean, we understand the problems, right? We can't be reckless, but you also can't go out there and not play. You can't play timid. We have to go. We have to rush Kyler like we do everybody else, and we have to trust our coverage, and everyone just has to do their job and understand that everybody on defense has to run to the ball. With the way that Cliff designs this offense, with they run the ball over here and there's a bubble, all the way on that far outside the numbers. Everyone on defense has to run to the football at a high level so that we can have a lot of guys at the tackle point. So it's a real challenge. He's one of the premier players in the league for a reason, and we have a lot of good players on defense that have to just kind of answer the calls. How I look at it.
I sort of have a similar question, but ever since that Raiders game, there's been this evaluation of Kyler going around that when he was coming out, a scout said that he looks like a toddler running around after a solar parent's phone. I am wondering how you are describing Kyler's that's true. You are describing Kyler's escapability to your team.
Yeah, I think he's one of the rare athletic players I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I saw him do things on the college football field that made me just want to walk off the field. Let me say that. Like, we sacked him, we knocked the ball out of his hands, it bounced on the ground 3 times, he picked it up and threw it for an 18-yard first down. He's one of the most amazing players I've ever seen in my life. And so, we beat them last year, but we didn't play him. No disrespect to anybody else, but we didn't play him. All right, we were able to play pretty well the first year. He's an amazing football player. And what I love about him is he runs the whole system. He's out there checking plays. He's getting them in the right looks. He's checking the runs. I mean, he's not just, hey, this guy's talented. He's skilled. There's a big difference, man. Lots of guys are talented. He is skilled, and he can push the ball down the field. So I think he's, you look at what he does in the 2 minute. That's really where you measure quarterbacks in my mind. Like, you tell me a good quarterback, show me what they do in the red zone. Show me what they do in 2 minute. He's just so fast. I mean, I'm just gonna tell you, he is so fast that he's a challenge to chase. And so we just have to play great team defense. It's not about one guy spying him. You have to do a lot of different things to be able to contain him.
Would you have a better feel for it had he played last year? Or you've seen enough of him over the years?
Yeah, no, I've seen. Yeah, I mean, Joe, I'll tell you that Raiders film. I mean, it's like it's one of those things. Like when you're watching the highlights that Monday, you're like, you think it's all like you're sitting there, you get home after a game, whatever. Monday, you're watching, like, oh, that's awesome. Then you got to go play him, and you're like, oh my gosh, how do I play? And make no mistake, they don't do it a ton, but the quarterback run game is as viable as anything. So. It's one of the reasons why we built our defense so fast, because we're going to need guys from the left side of the field to run to the right side of the field and, get guys down. And so, especially if they have Rondale back, he's a great player. Dortch playing really, really well. Ertz is stalwart. I don't know what's going on with AJ, and then the backs, James Conner's one of, tremendous man and football player. I have a lot of respect for him. Benjamin, I tried to recruit him out of high school. Like, there's a lot of guys on there that can play a lot of good football.
And I want to go back to what you said about, I think, the offensive line, maybe Baker's confidence in them. On Monday, you mentioned that. When a quarterback doesn't have full confidence in the line, what do you do to kind of get him past that?
Yeah, I think it's such a boring answer, but I think they just have to keep playing together. I mean, really, like, there's a twist game that got us on a sack before the half that should never, like, it's just an error. I didn't even get beat, just never get home. Right, a guy slid left and went back right, trying to do too much. And so, as a quarterback, man, you're when you go out there, all 10 guys are there to help you play well. And so I think he has full confidence in them. It just think it's playing together, man. You get into a rhythm, you start understanding, hey, this is how this feels, this is how this looks. You start finding the sweet spot in the pocket for you. That's why all along we've just been like, hey, just keep playing, right? Get to game 3, get to game 4. That doesn't mean we're not sitting here waiting for it. We are out there working our tails off, and the guys are too, to get this to be at the level that we want. But I just think they have to just keep playing together. And when I go back and watch the tape, like I went back and watched the tape this morning, I see all the signs of like, man, we're like that far away on this play, but it's just too many. On that one play, it's one thing. On one play, it's another. It's got to come together. That's what good teams do. They come together throughout the course of the season.
You mentioned
The last one.
having that familiarity with Kyler, with playing against him in college. Does that help at all, or is this just a different game because it's the
I
pros?
wish it did. There's nothing. There's nothing. There's really no like. There's no like. Hey, this is the perfect. We'll play this defense, right? I mean, there's it's just great players are great players, and he's a great player with other great players around him in a great system, and so. And you know what? I just on the defensive side, they got some. They got one of my favorite players in the NFL, and Buda Baker, and they got some. They got a defense that's aggressive and is I think 6th or 7th in negative plays, so they're kind of fit how well they're playing together. I just think at the end of the day, we have to focus on us. Like we have to play well. The things that have bothered us, maybe a deep ball, letting a guy outside the pocket, the run game early on, not causing turnovers. Like we have to fix those things. They've only turned the ball over once this year. So kind of what happened last week where we got the ball out, that's going to be hard. Like they're leading the league in fumbles, so we can't fumble the football like we did in the second game. So all these things that have happened to us along the way, the lessons we've learned, we have to apply them when you're facing a team that went 13-3 last year. You have to apply them to beat a good team.
All right,
Thanks, guys.